चैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपा साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णापदा सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णापृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासुदि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So we continue with Brahmaji's prayers to Lord Krishna. It's very powerful prayers that we all are witnessing now. And today's prayer, that is the verse which mentions about the clear vision of knowledge received from spiritual master, and the subsequent verse, how the living entity is put into illusion, mistaking a rope for a snake. Very, very instructive for all of us. In fact, when we perform deity worship, we have to purify ourselves, and we chant one prayer before we even start performing services. It says, I am born in the darkness of ignorance. In fact, I says, I am eternal servant of Krishna, but because of being inimical towards him, since time immemorial, I have wandered in this cycle of birth and death, suffering the threefold miseries of material existence by identifying myself as this body. Now, this material world, Srila Prabhupada mentions that as a living entity comes here, he is bound by these modes of material nature and then performs the activities. And as he performs the activities, he then binds himself more and more and identifies with the material body and thinks that the material body is all in all, and he performs activities on the platform of this. Yesterday, when we were performing deity worship, very nice lecture that Srila Prabhupada was giving, and this particular point was very striking. Srila Prabhupada is mentioning that, you may be traveling in a Rolls Royce car, and then somebody in front may be driving a rickshaw. Now, because you are driving a Rolls Royce, you just shout at him and you say, "Hey, rickshaw, move aside." So very strikingly, Prabhupada, you should hear his voice, the way he says this. He says, "Hey, rickshaw." So the Prabhupada says that little does he realize that he is also a human being, and the person who is driving also is a human being who is driving the rickshaw. But then, because you are in the Rolls Royce and the person who is driving the rickshaw, you think that you are superior to that person. And you identify with that rickshaw and say, hey rickshaw, just move aside, like that. Now that is a tendency with all of us. We all have that particular designation, and then we identify with that, and then we consider ourselves or we compare others as per that designation. Prabhupada mentions that this person, when he shouts, the rickshawala also has to move aside. In other words, the rickshawala also, the one who drives the rickshaw also thinks that he is a rickshawala. He is a rickshaw. Many times unknowingly, knowingly also, we sometimes, we just wait for a rickshaw and then we say, hey rickshaw, like that. So basically, like, we only see the external form as rickshaw and then ask the rickshaw to stop. A little knowledge would make us understand that actually it's not a rickshaw but the person inside who is driving that rickshaw, and that person is like us. So similarly, like a person with vision, Srila Prabhupada mentions that, Pandita Samadarshina, someone who has that vision, sees, everyone on the same level. So that's the thing. So Srila Prabhupada here very nicely says that what binds us in this material world is this identification with our material body. That I am this body, I am so and so, I am learned, probably I am rich, I am educated, I am intelligent, I am a Brahmana, I am a Kshatriya. With all these designations, we perform our activities. And we actually believe that we are those. And we perform those. That's why in the corporate world, like, even very a person who is at a lower level also is given a designation of a manager. Maybe he's a project manager or he's not mentioned as, someone who is a peon or he's just some manager. Because the moment you give the designation, he feels that I am so and so, then he starts working accordingly. He thinks that I am a manager and I'm supposed to exercise my rights or influence on others, and then I should work like that, And that's the nature of this material world, that you are given a particular designation which is not yours, and then you think that you are like that, and then you continue working. So Rupa Goswami mentions, Sarva Upadi Vinirmukta Tat Paratvena Nirmalam Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhaktir Uchyate. Prabhupada mentions that we have so many designations, but what is our actual designation? Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhaktir Uchyate. We are nothing but eternal servants of Rishikesh, who is the master of the senses. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentions, Naham Vipro Nacha Napati Napi Vaishana Shudra Naham Vani Nacha Grapati Na Vanasuya Kintu Prodya Nikala Paramananda Purnamratir Gopi Bharatur Patakamalur Das Dasanudas. I am neither a Brahmana nor a Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, neither a Brahmachari, Grasta, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa. I simply identify myself as a servant of Lord Krishna, who is the master of the gopis. Gopi Bharatur Padakamalur Das Dasanudas. That's our actual identity. That we are insignificant spirit souls, completely apart from the gross and subtle body. And on that platform, we serve under the guidance of a spiritual master. That's why in this particular verse, Brahmaji prays that by the mercy of the spiritual master, those who have received a clear vision of knowledge can see you in this way as the very soul of all souls. And then only you can able to cross over the ocean of illusory material existence. Actually, what is illusion? Prabhupada very nicely mentions that illusion means misconceiving one thing for another. And the example is given of a rope and a snake. So Prabhupada says the rope is also real, the snake is also real. But mistaking a rope for a snake, that is actually illusion. That means accepting something for something else, that is actually illusion. So a living entity, he identifies himself as the body, though he is actually a spirit soul. That's why Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita also, right in the beginning, when Arjun was completely bewildered, he was identifying himself, with the body, and all those who were fighting at the battlefield, he was considering on the battlefield platform, that their relatives and he has to fight those. So he actually forgot his dharma as a Kshatriya, that he should fight on this battlefield of Kurukshetra. He has prepared himself to come to fight, and as soon as he sees all his relatives in the opposite side, he becomes completely bewildered and he tells Krishna that I am not going to fight. He leaves his Gandiva bow aside. And Krishna, in the second chapter itself, he straight away starts with this Dhenosmin yatadhe kaumaram yavanam jara. As an embodied soul passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, similarly soul passes in another body. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. So right in the beginning, Krishna also gives this instruction, all of us. Because all of us, by some way or other, we identify ourselves with this body. And then because of we identify with this body, definitely we perform activities, and then in that process, we become completely bewildered. Prabhupada mentions very nicely in many places that, the main reason why we become illusioned completely is because we are thinking that we are the body, we perform all the activities on the platform of this body. And that's the problem, So, as it's mentioned that we are nothing but, Tatastha Shakti, marginal energy. We get influenced by the nature of this material world and they become bound. And by the mercy of the spiritual master, we can rise above this, transcend this, and then come on the platform of spiritual level. So, actually, in fact, we all are actually marginal. We are having Tatastha Shakti. We are infinitesimal living entities. But at the same time, we have that opportunity to, transcend this and go back to the spiritual world by the mercy of the spiritual master. This particular verse here mentions how that living entity is completely under illusion, and mistaking a rope for a snake becomes very fearful. So somebody who has no knowledge about Krishna, he is always in darkness, and darkness means you always become fearful. Like Radha Gopinath Prabhu gives a very nice example, many times in his Bhagavad Gita course. When you are in darkness, you are entering a room and you are going for the first time in a room, you do not know what's there. You don't know where the buttons are also. So you take so slow steps to go to the other side of the room, because you don't know where, whether there's furniture inside or whether you're going to hit against something. Not. The moment you put on the light, everything is clear. It's like that. So this material world is actually a mode of darkness, and because we are in this darkness, we are always fearful of things. We do not know what's in store for us in the future. But then when somebody receives this knowledge from a very, very self-realized soul, then what happens? All the ignorance is gone. Om Ajnana Timiran Dasya Jnananjana Shalakaya. That born in darkness is ignorance, but spiritual master opens my eyes to the torchlight of knowledge. So when we receive this knowledge from the scriptures, from the lips of a realized soul, then what happens is that we come to the platform of real knowledge, and then we understand things as they are. And then we do not become so fearful of this material existence. We really understand what is what, and we actually prepare ourselves for that particular ultimate goal. That's at the time of death, we know what is. Yesterday, Shubhu Vilas very nicely mentioned that if somebody doesn't know how to hold a gun and how to shoot, when the tiger comes in front of you, you cannot just, aim and shoot at him, because before you do that, the tiger will devour you. So unless until you don't have that knowledge and you don't receive that knowledge from the spiritual master, you will not be understanding. So here Brahmaji mentions very nicely that only after you receive the knowledge from spiritual master, then you are able to cross over the ocean of illusory material existence. And in the purport, next purport, it mentions that the people in this world, like the scientists and the philosophers, because they have no information of anything of this spiritual world, they find that the whole material world is all in all. Prabhupada gives an example of Dr. Frog in the well. He thought that that well is all in itself. And when his good friend came from the Pacific Ocean inside, he said, I came from ocean which is much more bigger than that. Dr. Frog, he is not able to conceive how big the Pacific Ocean is. So he is trying to find out, trying to bloat himself. He says, is this big? So big, so big. He says, no, it's bigger than that, much more bigger. He tries to bloat himself. And so much he bloats himself, he ultimately dies. Huh? Because he is not able to conceive that particular aspect, how big or how vast the Pacific Ocean may be. For someone who doesn't have that knowledge, it's mentioned here, he says that, submerged in water sees only water all around him. All around him. So Srila Prabhupada mentions that, we are actually looking for mirage in a desert. But what we really need to know is that if at all, if we want to quench our thirst, we should go near a place where there is a lot of water, like a sea or a lake, rivers. That's the place where we need. But going as a mirage, we think that there is water there, we run, and then we just put that handful of sand in your mouth and burns your throat and your tongue also. So that's what happens. We run and run thinking that it's water, but then when you go near, we realize that it's nothing over there. So here, as a living entity trying to find happiness in this material world, runs after so many things, runs after prestige, tries to satisfy the senses, the desires, nothing happens. Very nicely, Gaur Govind Maharaj, he gives a very nice statement. He makes a statement at how he was quoting Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He says, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur mentions that the words of a spiritual master is like a knife, and it's like a sharp knife. And when the spiritual master speaks, those words, they cut through all our illusory mentality. They cut through all our, ideas, the so-called ideas of this, and brings us to that platform, spiritual platform. Just like he says, the butcher, he just has sharp knife and cuts the neck of a goat. He says that the words of spiritual master for a disciple is like the sharp knife, and our ideas, our designations, our sensory, sense gratificatory tendencies are like that goat. And then the knife of the spiritual master cuts those and then, brings us to that original platform. So that's how it is, that we need to understand that if at all, if we have to get out of this material, there's only one way. That means taking shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. That's the only way out, and that's the only way that one can really, come out of this illusion that we are this body, and then come to the platform where you can eternally be serving the Lord. I just wanted to just share with you some few things which I have just formulated. I'm comparing the spiritual master to a maths teacher. My daughter right now is in the 10th standard, so I'm trying to teach her mathematics. And just going through the subject of mathematics, I realized, and I was preparing for this class also, I was realized that there's a lot of similarity between the two aspects. Because maths is such a scoring subject that if you write down all the steps properly, you will get full marks. But some mistakes here and there, you can lose marks. That means, you don't get those marks. Or maybe some mistake you make anywhere, your answer will be wrong. You will get 0. Whereas other subjects, at least something you may write, you may get some marks. But this is one subject where you don't, you get 0. So I was just trying to, compare some things like this, that where, like guru is like that maths teacher. And there are 6 points that one need to understand just to bring us and make us understand that, we should be always on the platform of spirit's infinitesimal living entity and spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna. So first thing in maths that one should understand is that as soon as a problem comes in front of you, you should understand what is the problem. There may be so many aspects to that. First, understand the problem. What is that problem that I am going to solve now, right? Just like being born is material world, we should understand this is a problem. What is the problem? That I perform certain sins and because of which I have attained this material body. I have received this body, as Prabhupada mentions. The very reason that you have got this material body means that means you have performed certain sins and you are taken birth again in this material world. Just like a prisoner has a particular uniform. Even though he may roam around anywhere, but that particular prisoner, that shirt design is enough for us to understand that this person has committed a crime. That's why he is wearing that particular dress of a prisoner. So similarly, when we have this particular dress, understand that this is a problem. That is, we are this body, and we have performed sins. That's the reason we have this particular body. So understanding the problem, that we are not the body but the spirit soul. That's the most important thing. In fact, Srila Prabhupada gives an example of a car and driver every time. Make us understand that how the driver is different and the car is different. The car's need is different and the driver's need is different. The car needs petrol for sustenance. You can't give him masala dosa or rice dal. But the driver's need is different. The driver needs all these things for it to sustain. So similarly, understand that you are not what you are. It is just an external disease. Like the body is external, like a car, but the real driver is a soul inside. So that's one thing we should understand. Like Amrish Prabhu, Alfred Ford, great grandson of Henry Ford, when he was introduced to his spiritual master Srila Prabhupada, he said he is Alfred Ford, great grandson of Henry Ford. So Prabhupada just asked him, he said, so where is Henry Ford? As soon as he asked where is Henry Ford, Amrish Prabhu said, I was floored. I understood that Henry Ford is no more. So Prabhupada, the way he asked, is where is Henry Ford? So similarly, he said, I was brought to the platform, spiritual platform, where he understood that he's asking where is Henry Ford. That means this person is gone. His body is gone, disappeared, burnt to ashes. So he said, even I was brought on the spiritual platform. That I am also not this body, but I am a spirit soul, like that. Like Srila Prabhupada, when he met first spiritual master Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he just went because his friend Narendra Malik said that you come and meet him. He was not even agreeing to go and meet him because he said, I've seen so many sadhus. Just not even he was sat down and then he received an instruction from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur that you are a young educated man, just go and preach this Krishna consciousness to the whole world in the English language. And Srila Prabhupada was happy. He said, I don't know him. He doesn't know me. How is that he just gives me this instruction? And being a Gandhian follower, he just tells him that, how can we do that? Because we are still under British rule. And Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur tells him that Krishna consciousness cannot wait for anything. And Prabhupada felt himself defeated and realized that, when Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur mentions like this, understands that all these externals, whether you're getting freedom or not, has nothing to do with what Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness has to be spread and it's beyond all these designations or whatever the external situations that we have, like that. So the second thing is that, for math, once you understand the problem, you can solve the problem only we have regularly practiced and you got regular training. There is no shortcut to mathematics, to learn mathematics. You cannot, just take one problem and say, I have understood. The only way to master it is just go on solving the problems. So it's regular practice and regular training. So for us to be on that platform where we understand that we are not the body and we are spirit soul, just to get us out of the illusion, we need to regularly hear Srimad Bhagavatam every day. Nashta Prayashvabhadesh Nityam Bhagavata Seva. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nish. And Prabhupada translates as by regularly hearing Srimad Bhagavatam classes. The translation is like that. So by regularly hearing Srimad Bhagavatam classes, one understands. Vidyate Hridaya Granthi Chidyante Sarva Samshaya. When you hear Srimad Bhagavatam on a regular basis, then we understand what is our goal of life, what are we supposed to do. And it's a fact that, if we do not hear Srimad Bhagavatam on a regular basis every day, then we may be bound by this, or we may get entangled in this so-called, nature of this material world. And we may think that what we are doing is right. But just to make us understand that, no, this is what is not to be done, and I am supposed to be acting on this particular platform, spiritual platform, we need to hear Srimad Bhagavatam class every day. That's the reason why this particular morning program is made, where we can hear Srimad Bhagavatam every day. Regular chanting, that also is regularly important, very, very important. It said that on a regular basis we should hear the words of the great Acharyas, Srila Prabhupada and other Vaishnavas on a regular basis. As I was mentioning, that how Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur mentioned that the words of the Acharyas is like the knife. They cut through all the hard knots of material existence and brings us to that level actually. Then once regular is there, regular practice, regular training. The third thing in mathematics, what is really required is, applying the correct formula to solve the problem. In a sense, there may be different formulae, but you should know what formula you should be using to solve that particular problem. In other words, it is said that the spiritual master is very expert in engaging a disciple in proper service according to their propensity. Like Srila Prabhupada, he engaged each and every one of his disciples according to the propensity they had. He met Haigiri Prabhu, he said, oh, you are a expert in English, editing, just why don't you edit my Bhagavad Gita? And that's how we engaged him. Somebody was a good painter, he engaged in painting. Somebody was a very intelligent manager, he just engaged him in managing so many affairs. That was his expertise. And that is a role of a spiritual master, to engage his disciples in service. That's one thing. Second thing is the proper attitude. That's very important. When I'm talking about correct formula, means the proper attitude that is of disciple is very important. That how you should perform yourself in front of others. Very, very important. According to different situations, how you should behave as a Vaishnava. Gaur Govind Maharaj, very nice thing he mentioned, that a devotee should be very saral. He should be simple. Simple means what? Accept the words of a spiritual master as it is, without any concoctions, without any duplicity. He says saralta means just accept with faith the words and follow it in a life. That's called as saralta. And kapat means what? Who concocts, who speculates. Very, very nice. He gives a very nice example. He's saying, supposing you go to somebody's house for prasad. He says, if you're hungry, and if you see the others are also, eating, but then they are stopped eating, but you are still hungry, and you say outwardly that, I don't want to eat, I don't want to eat. That is called that is called duplicity. He says, better that, you say, I'm hungry, I need food, please give me food. That is saralta. In a very nice way he was mentioning, just to drive home this point that, what is expected of you, do it as it is without, speculating. And if you do that, then what happens? Then you get the mercy. But the moment you try to, turn around, maybe try to speculate. That's why Prabhupada mentions Krishna consciousness simple for simple and complicated for the complicated. Somebody is very simple, Krishna consciousness is very simple. Somebody has a complicated mind, for him Krishna consciousness is very complicated. Like many times Prabhupada has to, interact with scientists and others, and they would ask so many questions here and there. Prabhupada had to really, give so many analogies and so many things. Sometimes you have to use harsh words to drive home a particular point. But somebody is very simple, just to accept and then go ahead with everything. So basically, like, simplicity is an ornament of a Vaishnava. It's said that Saralta is Vaishnavism. So when you accept things as they are, just follow the instructions as you are given, and then that's how you will just be doing, and you can progress. At the same time, when you do that, it's said that you actually are rightly situated on the spiritual platform. You don't get bewildered by things around in your life. So that's a way that we can understand this. Then the fourth point is that when you're solving a problem, you have to be very focused and attentive at every step. You know, like each and every step is important. What steps you carry out, you solve a problem, you take each and every step and be focused and attentive in writing down each and every step. Because when you do that, then you'll never, make any error in that. You know what you are going to do, next step, next step, next step. Similarly, as said that, every moment we have to be aware of our position, our eternal position. Krishna consciousness is a moment-to-moment activity. Every moment that we need to be aware about our position. It said that padam padam yad vipadam na tesham. At every moment there is danger. So when there is danger, that means you have to be aware at every moment. We have to be aware about our own position. Srila Prabhupada, one's disciple saw Srila Prabhupada praying intensely, and he just went on and asked Prabhupada, what is praying? He says, Prabhupada, at that time Prabhupada already had established the International Society of Krishna Consciousness. He had so many disciples, and he was praying that, please, protect me from Maya. So for, Prabhupada is showing by the example that even though you may be at that level also, you need to be constantly aware about Maya's strength and understand that your nature, you are so insignificant and so powerless in front of the Maya Shakti, and you need to be very, very cautious about. So at every moment we should. Example of Jad Bharat we have from Srimad Bhagavatam. How Jad Bharat, he made a mistake in his previous life and he decided now will not make a mistake. So he was very cautious to see that he doesn't become proud, or he doesn't do anything, so that he doesn't get any glory, he doesn't get any attention, and he was very focused on what he is supposed to do. I thought this can be an example. When bewildered, the fifth one, when bewildered, spare of some time and cool head, remember the process, or what formula or whatever the process or the way you have to solve the problem. So many times it may happen that we may be performing our activities and we have understood that we are not a body and we are the spirit soul, but then we may be entangled sometimes in so many activities, and we may sometimes become bewildered also by those. So for that we need to take out our time to associate with our fellow God brothers, fellow devotees, fellow Vaishnavas, and take some time out and associate with them and regularly take guidance from them. That's most important, very important for all of us to understand that. Because it never can happen that, like this particular statement of you are not body, you are the spirit soul. Like in the beginning years, I would hear every day the same thing, statements, Prabhupada's books, lectures. But then there was a situation where I got little involved, and once His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj came home and he was giving a class to some of the medical students. And when he said that, then I suddenly realized, oh yeah, that's how it happens. That we may sometimes hear the same and we may think that, oh, I know it, but it may just be on the intellectual platform. But sometimes, you hear that and a situation will be there, and then you may suddenly realize, oh, what is speaking is that. So for that reason, we need to take out some time, and then, so similarly, when you are solving a problem, we need to just, sometimes things may be very bewildering, just think for some time and then solve. The sixth point is very important, that is avoid careless mistakes. Careless mistakes means like, sometimes you can become very casual and then you may commit a mistake. Instead of minus you put plus, everything is gone. You may be the second last step and then here you just forgot to open a bracket, or probably you ignored that minus sign somewhere, and then you find that the last answer is wrong. That's called as careless mistake. Like Bharat Maharaj, he already was on the Bhava platform. He just went to the forest, and then he just got attached to a deer and then came down to the bodily platform. So much so at the time of death, he just remembered only the deer, and next birth, instead of going back to spiritual world, he came back again and became a deer. Because he thought about a deer when he was leaving the body, he became a deer. That means he had to take another birth, right? Instead of just getting out of this material world, he just had to come back again. So in maths, it's like this. You miss one thing, you can't say, I'm sorry, I made a wrong thing, like that. And gone. Like my daughter, in the second last step, it was written 1 upon 0.4. There are so many cancellations and other things. And she wrote the answer as 0.4. So 0.4 instead of 0.4, it should have been 25 or whatever. I don't even remember. It's 25 or whatever it is. So the point is that 1 upon 0.4 is a 0.4. So you got a big zero. She lost marks, 10 marks out of it. So nobody will say that, oh, you written so many nice steps. No, last sum is wrong. So sometimes careless mistakes means like this. So we may commit sometimes offenses, casual attitude. We may say something which may hurt a person, and then we may lose the grace probably. That's the thing I just wanted to share, actually. Ramchandra Puri also did the same thing. He offended his spiritual master, and then he again came back to the bodily platform. He just started performing all the other activities which others would do. So he's on the higher platform. That means he was about to serve his spiritual master. He had that opportunity to serve his spiritual master at time when he was leaving the body, and then he came down. Some careless mistakes. And the careless mistakes can cause a great. That's why he says, even if you are attached to a gulab jamun, also you have to come back to the material world. He said that. So much. Even if you are attached to a gulab jamun, you have to come back to this material world. So you can imagine what it can have in effect. And the last one, he said, when you perform the solution, when you answer, you have to cross-check again and again. There are different ways you can cross-check the same problem. Try out different methods and see whether the answer is right or not. So at every step also, we should understand that we should take shelter of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. Cross-check whether what I am doing is right. Sometimes we may perform activities, we may think that we are doing the right thing. It may not be. But there is no harm in taking inventory of ourselves and trying to find out whether are we really doing the right way? Am I really abiding by the words of the spiritual master, abiding by the words of the scriptures? Am I doing in the right manner? So we need to take that. And at every moment of time, we need to take shelter of the Vani of our spiritual master. The spiritual master, Vani, is very important at every moment of our life. You cannot say that, oh, I heard, now I don't need to hear. You need to regularly hear. The spiritual master is here only to give us his association in a form of his words. And if you don't take that shelter, then we may be lost. We may again come back to this bodily platform, so to this material world. So the words of spiritual master, the words of Acharyas, words of Srila Prabhupada, these are very, very important. So in every moment we should just be regularly taking this. And we have to understand what the spiritual master actually wants from me. How as a disciple I should be able to serve my spiritual master. And spiritual master through the examples or through his dealings with different devotees, we can also understand from them. Like I just want to narrate one incident that 15 years back, when my daughter was very small, I would carry her on my shoulder and travel. And there was this Man Mandir steps. You had to walk almost about 200 steps up from the base. So as I was walking, pride crept into my heart. I was thinking that, so I am so great, maybe I am carrying my daughter all the way and I am going to carry her all the way up. So as I was carrying, I was thinking about it. And my spiritual master was next to me as I was climbing. Suddenly he stopped and he said, "Please be careful." And I was thinking about it. I was thinking that I'm so nicely carrying. So many others are looking at me. I'm carrying this child, and everyone is praising me. And as I was thinking like this, my spiritual master stands. He just turns around. He says, "Please be careful." And suddenly I just was brought back to my original position. I said, "Please be careful." And it was a pun, because when he said, "Please be careful," I did not realize that there was a branch of a tree hanging around. It was evening time, 7 o'clock. I was carrying on my shoulder. And if I would carry on like this, she would have hurt herself with the branch. The branch would have hurt her neck, because it was at that level. Hurt her, and probably she would have cut her neck also. So I just stopped and realized that there was a branch there. At the same time, in my mind, something was going on. I said, "Please be careful." So suddenly I realized that I should be careful, that I should not become proud about anything. At the same time, he was also cautioning about what's going to happen if I am not careful at that time. So just to give that anecdote, to make us understand that at every moment of life we need to have association of our fellow Vaishnavas to bring us or bring back to our level of understanding that we are not the body, we are the spirit soul, and we should be performing activities on the body. When you are in that level, when you are in that association, we can be sure that we will not be illusioned. At least we have that opportunity where we can just correct ourselves and come out of this darkness of ignorance. So this is what I thought I can share with you. I'm sorry, I just went overboard. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.